I want to dive into the grades. Okay, let's do that first for the 49ers and their win over the Cowboys. Now, I'm not the biggest PFF guy, but I do think that it tells a good story. And one of the stories that it tells is the top rated offensive player and defensive player were shocking to say the least. But I think that this is a testament to who the 49ers are. And everybody wants to talk about the 49ers and all the stars we have, which we have ample amount of stars. But to destroy a playoff caliber team like the Dallas Cowboys, if you want to consider them that, I think that they are. And your top offensive player, even though Brock Purdy was amazing, even though George Kittle scored 3 touchdowns, even though CMC's on there, even though Ayuk and whatever else, it was Jordan Mason. And by a healthy margin, he had a 91.0 grade. Jordan Mason played 13 snaps. He had 10 rush attempts. 10 of those rushing attempts, 4 went for first downs or a touchdown. Like, this guy, he's stealing jobs, man. He is stealing jobs. And you look at it, okay, who's the best running back in the NFL? It's Christian McCaffrey. Anybody that wants to say different, you guys go touch some grass. Like you out of this logical worldview. Christian McCaffrey's the best there is, period. That's it. But for Jordan Mason to come in and spell him and do what he did, he had more missed tackles forced than Christian McCaffrey did in only 10 carries. The closer, JP Mason, baby. Developing such quality depth behind your best offensive player is huge. That's huge. Now let's go to the defensive side. I believe, and I put this, on Twitter. I posted a picture of Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner, and I posted a picture of Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis. And I said, these are the same picture. I believe that. I really, really do. Now, it's hard to compare players with a completed resume like Bowman and Willis with what they have done in their whole entire, catalog of their career, which is magical, to players like Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw, who, let's be honest, not even halfway there. Well, I guess maybe halfway there if you look at Patrick Willis, but whatever. You're getting the same type of caliber play where you have one All-Pro and one Pro Bowler right next to each other. Now, I believe Dre Greenlaw should have been a Pro Bowler last year. This year, I am arguing he should be an All-Pro player. I think both are deserving of being 2 All-Pro players at the same position, which is very rare. Very rare. And I forgot who put this up on Twitter. Man, I wish I could give the credit to the appropriate person. I apologize. I might be able to find it because it's important that, I want to make sure we get this right. Eddie Gonzalez. There it is. He went to look it up for his own curiosity. The Raiders haven't had an All-Pro or even Pro Bowl linebacker in his entire lifetime. Now, to be fair, I wonder if I can see his birthday. I don't know how old Eddie is. But, this dude, he's a FanDuel. Yeah, it's at Banksy. He's got like 50,000 followers. He does a great job. The boardroom. He's on all these podcasts. I don't know Eddie personally, but I appreciate you sharing that. I don't know, but I can tell you this. We're not them. We're not them. We are spoiled at the linebacker position. We have the 2 best linebackers in the NFL. And if you want to say like Dre Greenlaw's not, up there with Fred, that's cool. If you want to put him a slight tick down, that's cool. He's still Pro Bowl. That dude is having a Pro Bowl freaking level year, back-to-back years. And one of the smartest decisions the Niners front office ever made, everybody wants to be loud about their misses, extending Dre Greenlaw before that dude blew up because they knew what was coming. Stroke of genius. Stroke of genius. Incredible. Dre Greenlaw is a tone setter. And when he slammed Tony Pollard, yeah, he could have got a penalty. They didn't call it. He set the damn tone for that game. And Tony Pollard was scared of 5'7" the rest of the game. And Tony Pollard had one of the worst performances of his career. Why? That dude was intimidated. Mike Tyson on the field said, shut your ass up. And that dude wanted nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. Now, back to why I went on this long rant. We got the best linebackers in the game. You look at the PFF scores, neither one of those linebackers are number 1. But we did have another linebacker, number 1, Oren freaking Burks, baby. A 94.6 grade. He played 25 snaps. So it's not like, oh, he wasn't out on the field that much. There were only 49 defensive snaps. He played half, technically over half by one snap. This dude was unbelievable. 2 solo stops, 4 tackles, got the pick. I mean, he was everywhere. And I started screaming last year that Aziz is going to go. There's no way you're going to pay 3 linebackers. Oren Burks is going to be the new guy. And people were like, no, Marcelino McCrary Ball. No, Curtis Robinson. No. We got Jalen Graham. No, D Winters. Like all these other guys, DFF. And I just kept saying, Oren Burks. And he got injured through training camp, and it looked a little shaky there. But when that dude plays, if you look on PFF, the entire defensive NFL, Nick Bosa's the number 1 rated player. Number 2 is Oren Burks in the NFL. Highest rated player. Nick Bosa, Oren Burks, Myles Garrett. That's it. And we're getting all 3 of them this week, baby. We're getting all 3 of them. And so I wanted to just highlight, you got the best running back in the NFL, but the player who played best, analytically, whatever, which isn't the whole story. We'll go through the film and we'll tell that side of the story later. Best running back in the game, but it was his backup that had the best game. You got the 2 best linebackers in the NFL, but it was their number 3 guy that had the best game. You see what I'm saying? Like the what makes this 49ers defense and offense and team in general so damn good? It's the stars, but you're discounting the depth behind the stars. It's not just one thing. It's not just studs. It's the backups and depth that has been developed. Those are developmental guys that you got off of the back end of a roster. Jordan Mason, undrafted free agent. You developed him. He earned his job. He kicked Trey Sermon off the team. He passed Ty Davis Price. I think he's passed Elijah Mitchell now. You look at Oren Burks. You got him for freaking bargain bins. Packers didn't want him. Why? I have no idea. At worst, he's an elite special teams player, but now that dude's shoring up. He's shoring up. And if you get an injury to Dre Greenlaw or Fred Warner, God forbid, you now have that backup. If CMC has to miss a game, you mean to tell me we're going to put out Jordan Mason, Elijah Mitchell those are our 2 guys. Now, none of those are the same, but man, that safety net, it's developing quite nicely, guys. It really, really is. And I freaking love it. Diamond Dog Sports. What's up, man? I love that name. That's fun. Purdy is getting the love now. Complete 180 from the media, and I love it. Well, yeah, whenever you want a champion, like be in charge of the Cowboys, because if you're in the national media, you talk Cowboys, you get viewers. It's just what it is. And so everybody's talking about like, well, they haven't played anybody, blah, 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 whatever. But then he comes out and does what he does. Yeah, you got to change face. And he deserves, we were saying, I did a whole show, Purdy versus whatever. Dude should have been in the MVP. Should have been top 4 last time. Should be top 2 now. That's just I think it should be Tua and him. I really, really do. And you look at, the PFF numbers, he's second. He had an 85.3 grade. But you look at what Brock Purdy's done across the NFL, and you look at, okay, let's look at quarterback rating. He's number 1 in the NFL with a 123.1. Next up is Tua, a full 12 points behind him, which if you look at, if you subtract 12 points from Tua, right? So Brock Purdy's 1 with a 123, Tua's 121. You subtract the difference between number 1 and number 2. Now it's the same as number 2 all the way down to number 9, which is CJ Stroud, a rookie quarterback. So that's the gap in quarterback rating. Is that the best metric? Then I don't think so. If you look at QBR, guess what? Brock Purdy's number 1. Who's number 2? Josh Allen. It is a 5.5 point difference. Brock Purdy's got an 83.6. 100's as high as it goes, by the way. Josh Allen is 78. You subtract the 5.5, the difference between 1 and 2, right? That's going to put you down. You're now to number. That's the difference between number 2 to number 5. That's Jared Goff. The space between them. That is what is crazy. Now, I want to give credit here to Ben Baldwin, who does all these awesome charts, and I'm going to try my best to explain this for the audio listeners. It's a y-axis, x-axis that shows there's two different things. The vertical is late downs, EPA per play. The horizontal one is early down. So first and second down on the bottom. So the further right you are, the better you are at first and second down. Brock Purdy's all the way to the right, best in the NFL. Right behind him, Tua Tagovailoa. Behind him, Josh Allen. Behind him, Geno Smith. And then it's a whole cluster of guys. But there are 4 players that have separated themselves on first and second down efficiency. Brock Purdy's the best. Now, let's look at the vertical axis. Third and fourth down, EPA per play. Number 1, Brock Purdy again. So you mean to tell me Brock Purdy's the best first and second down quarterback, and he's the best third and fourth down quarterback. What the hell else do you need to know? Next up is Baker Mayfield, actually, Patrick Mahomes, and then Andy Dalton. So that's the third and fourth down quarterbacks. Now, you put those together, and so the further top right you go, the better the quarterback. The further bottom left you go, the worst quarterback. So look at the worst quarterbacks. Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson, Bryce Young, Kenny Pickett, Mac Jones, Desmond Ridder, Joe Burrow. Those are the worst. You look at the best quarterbacks, Brock Purdy is on a damn island by himself because he's all the way at the top and he's all the way at the right. He's the best of the best, all these metrics. Nobody's close to him. Nobody. Patrick Mahomes would be next, Josh Allen, Tua Tagovailoa, and that's it. You know, I mentioned Geno Smith being the 4th best early down passer. He's dead last on third and fourth downs. Dead last. Yeah, he's killing it, man. Oh, look at this. Phil, what's up, man? He says, no one is talking about the 49ers roster depth. I thought that was the most interesting aspect of the game. My game ball goes to Kyle Shanahan. Phil, you are the freaking man. I appreciate your generosity and support. But yeah, that question. And this is something I'm going to pay attention to with all the Patreon and the 49ersrush.com breakdowns we do this week. Obviously, we're going to pay attention to the stars early. But when the backups come in, that's, man, these are going to be the guys in the future. Don't bother me. What's up, man? It was so cool hanging out this week. He says, a big week for our line to show how legit they are. Yeah, they are. They showed up last week, and you got another test because I would argue Browns defense is actually better than the Cowboys. So we'll see what that looks like. Right here, any injury updates on Drake Jackson? Not really much. I think we're good. The only injury news that really came out was Aaron Banks with the bicep, but they said he's day-to-day, which is the best possible situation. Bicep tear, you're going to miss several months. So dodged a huge bullet there, which is we got pretty damn lucky. Flynn, feels so good to be a Niners fan right now. I'm with you, Flynn. Yeah, way to go. Ed, no way it's Purdy. John, it's Kittle's t-shirt. George Kittle is the best of us. I love that dude so freaking much. Wear the F Dallas t-shirt from the Gary Plummer days. Like, nostalgia's my jam. You know what I mean? That's who I am. I'm wearing a Tops t-shirt for crying out loud. You know what I mean? Like, we are who we are. We're faithful. Faithful then, faithful now. It's all together. I just talked about Patrick Willis. I just talked about Bowman. Just talked about Gary Plummer, right? Like, that's who we are. And so, Ed, George Kittle coming out, scoring 3 touchdowns and flexing the shirt. That's awesome, man. You send a team home back-to-back years of the playoffs and then embarrass them like that on Sunday Night Football. It's going to be a long damn time till anybody respects the Dallas Cowboys again. If they ever did. We never did. We knew who they are. They are who we thought they were.
The 49ers Rush Podcast.